Sex and violence sell. While some shows choose to focus on just violence, and others turn their attentions to more romantic storylines, the best shows seamlessly weave together the excitement of violence and the passion and emotion of sex and love. This is evidenced by Showtime's hugely successful television show, The Tudors. The period drama that focused on the court and wives of Henry VIII kept both male and female viewers hooked throughout 4 seasons by seamlessly weaving together beautiful costumes, praiseworthy acting, exciting violence, and no shortage of sex and romance. Therefore, it comes as little surprise that the image chosen to grace the cover of the show's DVD package was equally as enticing and intriguing. Through the use of a clear focal point and creative cropping, the photographer was able to capture a striking image that is attractive to both sexes in order to persuade them to watch the show. The clear focal point of the photograph is Jonathan Rhys Meyers as King Henry VIII. Considering the whole show revolves around the king and his court, it makes sense that the photographer would place Henry front and center in the photograph. However, interestingly, Henry's face is the only one shown in the image. That, combined with Meyers' intense and direct stare, draws the reader's eye immediately to him. The king's face, while relaxed and rather neutral, contains a sinister air that is further emphasized by his provocative hand placement, suggesting to the viewer that mischief can be expected from the young king. Furthermore, Henry's overall body position and clothing draws the eye to him as the focal point of the picture. He sits in an ornate chair with his legs spread wide, taking up the vast majority of the space in the image with his limbs, so that the viewer simply cannot miss him. Henry's rather plain clothes stand in stark contrast to the other items in the photo. The king is dressed in simple black pants that seem to extend down into the black base of the image, increasing his perceived size and power within the image. Interestingly, a simple white shirt and gold chain are all that adorns the king known for extravagance. While this might initially seem like an oversight by the photographer and stylist, it's clear that the open chest, exposed arms, and simple design of his attire are meant to direct the viewer's eye to the king's face, so that they are caught up in his powerful gaze. Women would very likely be drawn to his image because of the exposed skin and handsome appearance. Men, on the other hand, would be intrigued by the perceived power in his pose and the items surrounding him in the photograph. The king is flanked by a trio of women in ornate dresses that are covered in lavish jewels. However, the beautiful costumes are not what attract the viewer's eye after they leave the king's face. Rather, the eye travels laterally to the 3 women's exposed chests, which creates a horizontal line at the apex of Henry's head. What next captures the viewer's attention is the fact that the women in the photo have had their heads cropped off. The intriguing cropping choice for the image could have multiple purposes. First and foremost, the decision to crop off the women's heads is likely symbolic of Henry VIII's penchant for beheading the wives who displeased him. The symbol is intriguing to potential viewers who are unfamiliar with Henry's backstory, while at the same time creating excitement for those who are aware of the history behind the character. Another symbolic reason to crop the photo in this way may have been to illustrate to the viewer what Henry valued about the women in his life. Although he was married 6 times, Henry was known for his affairs. He frequently cheated on his wives and had illegitimate children in his quest for a male heir. Therefore, the cropped women with their breasts largely exposed suggest that Henry sees the women more as sexual objects than as partners or intellectual equals. Finally, a reason the photo may have been cropped in this way could be to emphasize the sexuality that was built into the show. Much of the show's plot revolves around Henry and his affairs with multiple women. The removal of the women's heads leaves their breasts as the primary point the viewer focuses on when looking at them. Thus, men and women alike would be drawn to watch a show in order to see how the relationships, both emotional and sexual, are handled. Clearly, the person responsible for this image was aware of the audience this show was trying to attract. Men who favor shows filled with powerful men and somewhat promiscuous women, and women who enjoy romance and historical dramas. This image captures all elements in a powerful way by cropping the image and creating a powerful focal point that represents the show accurately and creatively.